Okay, 597, and this is 15A3 is where we are at. Hello, come on back. There you are. Okay, 15A3. So let's just read through this. Agree company. Why can't we just call it something like Smith? That's just confusing. Agree company uses a perpetual inventory system. From the following information, prepare an inventory record form, assuming that the Fifo method is used, and B, assuming that the LIFO method is used. Assume on January 1 that a beginning inventory of 800 units and a beginning inventory of 800 units at a cost of $8 each. Okay, again, so this is a little bit of a different problem. We're doing an inventory record here. So just follow along as we go through. We have to assume at the beginning of the year, on January 1, a beginning inventory of 800 units. So I'm going to start here, and I'm just going to say that we're going to start with our first in, first out method up here, and we'll have to separate it then. So I just put a little FIFO on the top left corner. Start with your date of January 1. And we aren't receiving or selling our beginning inventory. We're saying that we're starting with it. It's carrying over from the previous year. So we're just going to start our balance there. We're starting our balance at 800 units, $8 per unit. And so if you have a phone on you, or you can pull up your calculator, we are going to have to do a little bit of math. So we're going to do $8 times 800 units. I will give you the answers, but I also want you to do it. Yeah, that works. Just make sure 2 of those zeros are to the right of your decimal. So it is 6,400. Okay, so that's where our inventory is going to start. Okay. So we're going to go by date. We're going to do all of this by date. So we need to find the earliest date here, which is going to be March. On March 8th, we sold, right, we're in the sold section. March 8th, we sold 500 units. So let's start with your date. March 8th. And make sure you find your sold column. That's what we're doing right now. Keep in the same row. We sold 500 units. Now at this point, all we know is that we have a certain number of units that we bought at $8 per unit, so we're going to keep that price here. So 500 times $8 would give you 4,000. Actually, I'm sorry, let me explain that a little bit better. We're doing FIFO, first in, first out. So as we sell, we need to go from the first items that we have in stock, if that makes a little bit more sense. We know that these are already here, and we're using the Fifo method to determine our inventory costs. So the first items that we have on hand is the price we're using, the first ones we sell. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so if we had 800 units in stock, we sold 500 units, we are now down to 300 units. These are still at 8 apiece, so your new ending inventory balance should be $2,400. Okay, so then let's move on. We're going to go to April 15th, so March to April. On April, we received items. So that means we bought from our vendor, manufacturer, whatever you would like to call it. April 15th. Anybody know the significance of April 15th?
What?
Do you know the significance? Yeah, do you know the significance of April 15th?
Taxes?
Tax day. To have your taxes done by then, paid by then. It tells us that we received 220 units at $7 a unit. So when we do that math, 220 times 7, go ahead and do that. Negative there, bud.
What?
Unless
I put 8. That's my bad. What? I multiplied by 8 instead of 7.
That'll do it. $1,540.
Yep.
Okay? So, your units, we had 300 on hand. And let's go ahead and add the 200 here because the cost is different. So I'm going to put 200 at 220, sorry. At $7.
You don't add it up?
Yes, you will.
Oh.
Yeah. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write that here so we can see the price difference, and then here I'm going to put the total. Actually, that's not true. I've led you astray. Hopefully you're not using a pen. I know there's one of you in here who likes a pen. Skip this line. Okay? Leave that blank. Down here we're going to do our 220 units at 7 apiece. And we're going to put, we're going to add the total here. So we'll take the 2,400 and add it to the 1,540. So your total inventory on hand, 2,400, add it to your 1,540. So what's your new total on hand for the amount? Good. We're not going to combine or add our actual units together because we're counting them at different costs. Okay, so we did March and April, and the next one is all the way in October. So we're going to move to October, October 5th. Make sure you don't write October right under April, right? Because we've already filled part of this line, so we need a little space here. October 5. Okay, track with me here. So on October 5, we sold 350 units. Now, we need to track the cost per unit. Remember, we are using the Fifo method, so first in, first out. We have 300 units left at this price. So we are going to use those up first. So you want to take 300 units at $8 a unit and put the price in here, $2,400, or the cost in there. Because we're doing first in, first out. So we have to use the first cost per unit that we have. But we did sell 350 units, so we need to account these extra 50 at the next cost, which is $7 a unit. So we will take 50 at $7, which is 350. Okay. So for the units that we paid $8 for, we're out of those. They're gone. For the units that we paid $7 for, we've sold 50. So we're going to take this 220. We're going to subtract 50 out of that. So our new unit amount would be 170 at $7 a piece. The one day I forgot my phone, and I wish I was doing this along up here with you. So your new total is going to be your current $3,940 minus this cost plus this cost. So if you take 3,940, subtract 2,400, subtract 350, what is your total cost of available inventory? Anybody? Thank you. Yes. Do we feel completely lost or kind of see where we're going with it? Okay, that's all right. We did March, April, October. We're going back to November 12th now. So the next one in order, chronological. November 12th. Again, make sure you go to the next completely open line. November 12th tells us that we received 800 units at $9 a unit. Right, you can see that right here. 800 units at $9 a unit. So again, find your received column. 800 units, $9 a unit. It should bring you to 7,200. Okay, so here again, because we have a new cost for these units, we're not going to add those back in here. We're going to separate that. So let's skip this line right here. Leave that blank and come down here and write your 800 units at $9 a unit. Okay, and then add this to this. Your current inventory on hand plus your new shipment that just came in. Put those together to get your new total, but we want to keep separate the number of units at each of these prices. So what do you get when you add your current inventory to your new shipment? Good. 8,390. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and move to November 30th, the next date. We sold 400 units. So make sure you're on the right line. November 30th, we sold 400 units. Remember, we're doing first in, first out. So we need to use up the items that came into our company first. At this point, we have 170 units at $7 a unit, so we need to use this cost up first. We're going to take all of them there. So 170 at 7. We already did the math on that. Okay. So if we sold 400, how many more do we need to account for? 230. And what is our next oldest cost that we're going to use? We're moving up. We already sold all of our $8 pieces. We just sold all of our $7 pieces, so now we have our $9 pieces. Yeah. So 230 pieces at $9 a piece gives you 2,070. Okay, so these are gone, right? Our units that we bought at $7, we've sold all of these. We've sold some of these, so we had 800, and we sold 230 of those. So we have, what, 570 of those left at 9 apiece. So here, we need to take what we had, our total inventory amount, 8,390, and subtract the cost of these sales. So subtract your 1,190 and subtract your 2,070 from here. What do we get? Good. 5,130. All right, you're almost there. Our last transaction was December 31st. So on December 31st, we received 700 units at $10 a unit. Find your right line. Okay, so once that's in your, make sure that's in your received column. 700 units at $10 a unit. And I'm just going to go ahead and rewrite this part. We still have our 570 units at 9 a unit. Let's not put anything over here because we're not adding or subtracting anything yet. But now we need to include our new shipment of 700 units at $10 a unit, and let's find our total inventory on hand. So it would be this amount, your $5,130 plus your new shipment. These boxes need to be bigger for my handwriting, I guess. So we should have an ending inventory of $12,130. Why did I write this twice? Just because I wanted to see that they were still there, kind of. I know there's nothing in the sold, but yeah. Okay, so I know that's a lot. I'm not going to do the life out, the last in first out today because I think that was kind of a lot for your brain to process. So I'm going to let you be there. There's not going to be any homework. So tomorrow we're going to do this same thing, but with the last in first out method. So we'll be calculating some different costs in a different order.